Welcome back. Luke Reimer with FlurrySports back at it again for our Week 5 NFL Survivor Pool picks. If you've been rolling with me, you are 4-0. You are leading your Survivor Pool. You're not out yet. I heard someone took the Packers last week against the Cowboys, which, I guess they didn't lose, but they didn't win, so that owes some. I'm not here to make those for you now. That's not great. I'd be very very upset with that pick. But it's not what I'm giving you. This week we're back at it again. We won last week, Detroit Lions over the Cleveland Browns. I'm giving you another lock of the week. I'm giving you another value pick of the week. I'm giving you another high risk, high reward pick of the week. If you're new here, welcome. We're here to win you some money, win me some money, win us some money. And we're really what the focus of the show is. We're here to keep you alive in your Week 5 NFL Survivor Pool picks. A couple years back, I went 17-0. I helped a lot of people win a lot of money. I'm here to do that again. We're 4-0. We're rolling right now. Week 5, we got the buys coming in. We kind of have an idea what teams finally are. A lot of people say the first 4 weeks of a season don't really matter, which they do, when you boil it down because there's only 17 games. But I think when they say that, they like teams are very different week 1 than they are, week 16. I think we get a little bit of idea of what teams are week 5 to what they're going to be week 16. So that being said, let's get right into it. As always, we're starting off with our high risk, high reward pick. If you are new, our high risk, high reward pick, we're taking a team that is not very good. They're never a team that you're really going to go into any week and think, yeah, I'm really confident that they're going to win this game. But this week they have a great matchup. So they are a team that if you are willing to risk it, you're probably going to be the only one that takes that team, which means that you are getting a great, you're getting a high reward as the name implies, and you're going to be able to cross a team off the list that nobody else is probably going to take all year, which leaves you with some of the elite, some of the top dogs come middle of the season when everyone else is grasping at straws. So with that being said, I'm going to give you my high risk, high reward pick right away. So looking at the board here, there are a couple that we can go for. This Texans Ravens game is a really interesting game, right? We're probably without Lamar Jackson this week. That Ravens defense hasn't been great. On the other side, that Houston Texans offense has not been great. So I think I'm going to stay away from that because that feels like a stalemate where the Ravens are probably a better team and can probably win a sloppy game like that. Dolphins Panthers is an interesting one. Raiders Colts is an interesting one. Giants Saints is a really interesting game. Again, do you take the Giants? How much do you really believe in the Giants? I'm not sure. None of these games down here are really speaking to me. That makes me think that I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers over the Miami Dolphins, and I'll tell you why. The Miami Dolphins continue to look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. I know they beat the Jets last week, but now they're down their best player in Tyreek Hill. That passing game is all of a sudden taking a huge hit now that it hasn't been great to start. But when you have Malik Washington as your wide receiver too, I don't necessarily know that you're very happy about that if you're Tua Tagovailoa, if you're Mike McDaniel, or even if you're a Dolphins fan, to say the least. That Dolphins pass defense is also not great. We're for the Carolina Panthers. We're getting, Jalen Coker is probably going to be back this week. Xavier Legette is probably going to play. Ted McMillan, given the Panthers' struggles on offense, he kind of looks like to be the guy in Carolina. He seems to be that big receiving weapon that, hey, Bryce Young can't see over the line. Just throw the ball somewhere where Ted McMillan is. He's probably going to come down with a catch. And with not a lot of resistance on the defensive side of the ball for Miami, I can see him having a big week, and I can see him kind of giving that shot that the Carolina Panthers offense really needs. I think Chuba Hubbard can run the ball well against Miami's defense here. I know this is not a very sexy pick, but again, this is high risk, high reward. If you're really questioning, like, look, why are you even thinking about the Panthers? They're one of the worst teams in the league. Well, I don't disagree. I mean, they shut out Atlanta no less than 2 weeks ago. I mean, they went up 30-0 on them. In Atlanta, I would say, is a much better defense than Miami and probably much better offense than Miami. So I don't think Carolina is an absolutely horrible pick here. Would I risk a 4-0 record on them? Probably not. But I think as a high risk, high reward, I don't hate Carolina at all. I do think they win this game. So I think Carolina is a solid pick here to lock into your high risk, high reward. Moving forward, let's go into our value pick of the week. Value pick, it's kind of that, again, if you're new, I'm going to explain it here real short, but that value pick is kind kind of that step up from a high risk, high reward pick, right? A value pick is a team that, is not great, and they're not horrible. They're a team that maybe you could see picking in the future, but you don't really know when you're going to pick them. But they have a great matchup, so this might be the week to pick them. Like if you use let's say you're down the Bills, the Lions, the Eagles, the Rams, the Packers, all these elite teams, and you're really grasping at straws. This might be a team that you think about. I'm here to say you might want to think about it this week while you still have some elites left. So looking at the board, looking at the board we got here, I really like the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Tennessee Titans this week. Arizona is a team that, they start off 2-0. They're coming off two losses, but they have a chance to kind of right the ship here. They have Tennessee going across country to Arizona to play at home. They're going to get their patented 305 time slot. Um, this, as Cam Ward so elegantly put about this Tennessee Titans team, we asked, this is not a very good team. I don't necessarily know that the quarterback was the issue. It was an issue with Tennessee. I don't necessarily know that a rookie quarterback suddenly fills that hole. And obviously, as we've seen, Cam Ward's had some good moments. He's had a lot of bad moments too. Tennessee virtually has not had a strong run game. The pass game is crazy. And when you have Iamana really being that number one receiver, I think you're in for a world of hurt on the offensive side of the ball here. I mean, Tennessee is in the midst of this rebuild, right? There are going to be struggles, and that to me screams that there's opportunity for middle level teams to beat them, which brings me to the Arizona Cardinals. For what Tennessee lacks in the quarterback, I think they're all right in the run game, but with Kyler Murray's legs, I think you have to have eyes on the quarterback, which leads to the DeMarcados of the world and the Michael Carter of the world being able to run the ball and hit some of those gaps. We kind of saw Marvin Harrison come a little bit into his own last week after a tough stretch to the year. Made a nice touchdown catch against a really good Seattle defense. Trey McBride's still a stud. I think there are guys on this Cardinals offense that can really, bend the needle or push the needle more towards Arizona than Tennessee. To me, I think the Cardinals are a better team than the Titans, and I think that's what we look for in a value pick. I think you'd be dumb not to go with the better team in this game. That's kind of a rule of thumb moving forward for the NFL. Like when you're picking games, you probably should pick the better team. And I think Arizona is the better team in this game, and that makes me think that they're going to win this game. Again, I don't know that there's anything that really scares you on Tennessee. Like, how is Tennessee going to score points in this game? I'm not completely sure. I mean, they will, but I'm not completely sure how they're going to score points, and that makes me less confident that they are going to score a lot of points. In Arizona, I can see them scoring points. I can see Trey McBride. I can see Marvin Harrison. I can see Kyler Murray running in one or two. So give me the Arizona Cardinals here. The two young coaches, one has a little bit more experience than the other. Arizona Cardinals. And then finally, the big one, what everyone's been waiting for. This is our lock of the week. This is the pick I'm taking. This is the pick I'm advising you to take. This is the pick that we're going to take. That we're going to stay alive in the Survivor pool. We're gonna be 5-0 after this week. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that. That's awesome. Isn't that fun to say? And with that, we're taking the first game of the week, guys. We're taking the Los Angeles Rams to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know at this point, Los Angeles should be 4-0, right? They had that kick block against Philadelphia, which I know they gave up the long comeback, but really they were still in a position to win that game. They should have won that game, other than a crazy ending to it. The Rams, to me, are still top three team in the NFC, maybe top two with Philadelphia. I think the Rams have a legitimate shot at making a run in the playoffs. I think, they get match up with the Eagles again. I think that'd be a very fun NFC championship. I think the Rams can give the Eagles a little bit of a scare. And looking at the 49ers, I know they're 3-0 or 3-1, but they are down a ton of players, right? We see that Brock Purdy's not going to play. We see that Juwan Jennings is not going to play. We see that we see that guys are not going to suit up for him. We see Ricky Pearsall is not going to suit up for him. George Kittle is out. Brandon Ayuk is out. Again, kind of in a similar vein to the Tennessee Titans. Like Mac Jones has brought them to 2 wins this year, but that the San Francisco hasn't really played that great a competition. Now they get their toughest game of the schedule so far in a divisional matchup, going to LA. I know it's not a far drive for them, but the Rams are going to be fired up for this one. I think Sean McVay is a top 3 coach in the NFL. I think Kyle Shanahan is a little bit overrated as a coach. Not that he's a bad coach, but I think this is a game where Sean McVay greatly outduels Kyle Shanahan. And maybe that's not the fault of Kyle Shanahan. I just don't know that he has the guys there to compete, with the Puka Nakuas, with the Kyron Williamses, with the Devontae Adams, with the Matt Staffords of the world. There again, I think this comes down to that there's nothing that really scares you on this 49ers offense right now other than Christian McCaffrey. But at what point do we say that Christian McCaffrey has kind of been that player all year? I know he's brought him to 3 wins, but he's not the Carolina Panthers Christian McCaffrey. He's a guy that I think you can game plan against, or I think you can just let Christian McCaffrey be what he is and don't let anyone else beat you. Which I think the Rams have way too much firepower for San Francisco to really keep up here. So give me the Rams in a road. I think the Rams dominate this game. I think this is a great time to use the Rams. Give me the Rams. We're gonna be 5-0. That's an awesome thing to say. So if you're watching this, keep riding with me. Let me know how you're doing. If you're taking other picks into me, let me know. I'm always interested to see how other people's brains work. Right, we're all different people. We all have different thoughts. If you're 5-0, what's worked for you? Have you been picking against a team all year? Usually, about week 6, 7, 8, 9. I kind of get into a rhythm where let's just pick against the Cleveland Browns. Let's pick against the Raiders. Let's pick against the New Orleans Saints, and that might happen come the middle of the year. But at this point, I still think we're kind of in these beginning stages, kind of transitioning into we know what we're gonna do every week now. We're not just picking teams with that I think are gonna be good. I'm starting to pick teams that I know are good. So with that being said, Los Angeles Rams lock of the week, Arizona Cardinals value pick of the week, Carolina Panthers high risk high reward pick of the week. I appreciate everyone for watching, and we will be back next week with our week 6 Survivor Pool picks. Thank you. Good luck this week, and let's make some money. Peace. Fuck yeah.